Hey you freaks, this is Peter, the Vader, and you're listening to Room 101. Stay in tune. Room 101.
Welcome to Ireland, Peter. First of all, let me thank you for 32 years of pure violence. I was almost a kid when you released your first top-selling demo, Morbid Rage, with 10,000 copies. And those years, you did the joys of a generation of metalheads, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, going back to the early years of the band, have you ever imagined that your music would mean so much to all these headbangers?
No, when we started to create music, which was let's say, a revolutionary in our land. So like we were maybe nothing as special as the music. It was just still heavy metal, which was music influencing us until today. We just wanted to show this in a more extreme way. So extremity was a language we're talking about, and the language we still do talk, and this is the expression we choose, to show our emotions. And in those years we started, it was in the 1880s, in a country, Poland, was still a different country than Poland today. And the music was something we were like escaping to. It was like music we felt so, which was so special to all of us, to all crazy metal freaks. For us, listening to music was escaping from this, gray world with nothing, actually. And we are young guys, teenagers who wanted to do something, and to set the fire around, And at the beginning, the music was that kind of escape, And then, of course, everything started to be more serious. Like we started a band to express ourselves, but of course there was more hobby. The Vader became a professional band many years after that. After we started the band, and so nobody ever expected that it's gonna go as far, with this. That's great, of course. It's good to be influenced for the next generations. After we were influenced by bands like Black Sabbath, then Slayer, to just like mention a couple of. And then this is like something which is a continuation of the new generation still have the same fire inside, and we need like to set it up, like just to express in different ways. So that's my opinion.
And in this matter, death, suffocation, or cannibal corpse are the names that often coming back when talking about extreme metal and early extreme metal. Now, little people know that Vader was created in this era as well, in the 80s. Those legends took advantage of a worldwide distribution. How difficult was it for you to make your way up the scene, knowing Poland wasn't really the place where metal was made at the time?
That's what I was talking about. And metal, I think, had the same source and same influence like in the whole world. So Poland was totally different. We are behind the Iron Curtain. So the problem for us was everything. So it was like really hard to get the music, and the quality instruments, everything was a problem. So but the passion was high. The passion was high, and that's why nothing and nobody could stop us in this, in this creativity, And so if we had no instrument to buy, we had not enough money to buy quality instruments, so we used like homemade. There's some guys with the talent that they made some amplifiers, like instruments in the basement, and we used that. If we had no albums, so something like tape trading started to exist in the world. So we started to copy, to travel across the land just to share the music and to tape some music. That was the source. There was no internet, existing in these years. So that was the mailing and trading, tape trading. The tapes were like the most popular, thing in those years. So that was the only source, and also kind of a net between the freaks, and the whole world, So Iron Curtain ceased to exist actually for metal music, since we could use mail to send tapes around, with all this information on the flyers, and it was also kind of popular in those years. So we found our own way to spread this so-called disease called like extreme metal around the world, and actually everything started in those years in this very way.
No, the Iron Curtain was definitely the main issue with propagating the music at the time.
No, we could not get through the West, with the band as a band, but the music was, there was not a problem for the music itself, because like the many families, in Poland had families outside of Poland, living in the U.S., in Germany, and everywhere, and they were sending gifts, and the mail packages with albums, things, and these people were the source for all of us, And if we could not get it in the stores, the record stores, because nothing like record stores really existed in Poland in those years, so we found our own way, our own source. The breakthrough came later, and actually Vader was one of those first extreme metal bands who could get through after we released the first album in '93 through Eric Records. So for Polish extreme scene, everything started at the beginning of '90s. After we released Morbid Drink and after we signed a deal with Eric.
Now today, thanks for the internet, music distribution has changed, and for young bands it's definitely easier to make their music known.
Oh, yeah.
What advice would you give to newcomers to approach this marketplace?
It's hard to give advice, because you have to do it on your own, and it's really hard to learn something which is a passion, because passion's inside, and it's hard to to compare the times, the era when we are like creating, when we are starting, to something today which is absolutely different. The music is not a problem, record stores are around, magazines are around, everything is easy to get. I think maybe too easy, so people cannot really understand how happy they should be to have what they have. And the problem is also, when we started, nobody was thinking about any success. We had fun, we enjoyed the music. We wanted to do something, and that was more local in those years. We had fun, That was the language we were talking about, extremity. That was different. That was something nobody in the media could understand, So we were like a different level, from a different planet. And today, metal became as popular, so it's hard to even imagine that the bands like, let's say Metallica or the Behemoth in Poland could gain such a level in music, and popularity. And the young bands start today, they really think about success first, and this is not good, I think. It's nothing bad to be successful and to have money from the music, but you have to go through hell first to understand that this music first is to satisfy yourself. And if you're gonna think about success, money, and to be popular, extreme metal actually is not right way, I think. It happened in the past, and we had bands who gained high success, but they were never thinking about that when they started. If you would show the Metallica today, if you had the time machine and you get back, the popularity of Metallica to the '81 when they started in the garage, they probably would laugh loud, this can't happen, but it happened.
Yes.
But it was just the way was such a weird, so nobody expected that in the past, that metal is going to be as popular as metal. But you know, we still talking about extremity, we still talking about metal, which is not as much popular because of noise, let's say. No, it's for people who see just noise in the music like this, they cannot understand this, the heart of the music, the extreme music, which actually we create as a Vader as well. And this is pretty natural. It should be natural. This should be kind of filter for those who never gonna look for something special in this kind of music. For them, music like Vader, Suffocation, or Cannibal Corpse, this is nothing but noise, you know.
Yeah.
But we found the heart in that, and we found the real fire, and the music is definitely not stupid. It is stupid for those who looks for something different in the music at all. They want to dance, you know. They want something sweet, you know. In the music, this is not for these people, and unfortunately, these people own media and this kind of stuff. They know they thinking about like making money, so maybe not Vader's. That music is not the point, you know. Even if we still have money from that music after we became professional, but again, we never, that was not a point, you know, when we started. It came later, after hard work, after like, you know, sacrifice ourselves for that, just because we love it. This is how we talk, you know, and I don't know how to explain it in a better way, you know. It's just, I'm trying to explain my feeling, you know, but yeah. It's really hard to talk to somebody living in a different world when the music, you know, became much over.
Too much of it everywhere.
Yes.
So you just have to let your feelings speak, and that's it.
Yeah. You know, of course, I'm not trying to say that we supposed and we have to stay in underground just to play good music. But sometimes, you know, if you are too high, you can feel something which was always an influence for metal music at all. It was also anger, you know, some rebel, you know, in the heart, you know. That was a source for metal. You have to scream loud about something you don't accept or don't like, you know, around. No, it's really hard to scream loud about the pain if you're a rich boy and having everything around, you know.
Of course, of course. Many lost their ways this way. Being rich just cut them from their roots, and that's the thing. Now, back to Vader. Critics always considered that De Profundis was one of the best death metal albums of all times. On its release in '95, many of us just thought that Vader reached the maximum of its potential, which was proven wrong with the newest release after this one. So what is Vader's secret of excellence and higher quality production?
There's no secrecy in that. It's just passion, you know. So since I'm a leader in the band, so I never lost my passion in the music, you know. And I evolve, I develop, but I develop in the music I like, you know. Vader, I don't want to like make Vader just a tool for making money, you know. And of course I'm happy that I can be a professional musician because it makes everything way easier, you know. I can focus on music and creation. I don't need to think about like money for food, you know, for my family, things. This is way easy if you're a professional. So you can record more, you can like create more, you know. But the price is high because we're still busy, you know. My life is to be on tour and be in the studio all the time, and I'm so happy, boy, that I found a family who understand this situation, and we still can be a family, even if I'm a busy guy all the time, like a mariner somewhere in the world. And this is all about the music, you know, and the sacrifice itself, you know, for that. And you mentioned De Profundis. It was definitely a milestone for us, but it's funny if I hear people calling this album as like something super special, like, but because when we record that, the critic was not as good, you know. So it came years later that the De Profundis was called like a really important album and milestone, not just in Vader career, also like death metal in the East especially, you know. and good to know. But you know, the most important thing for me is we're still active for so many years. It's over 30 years already, and we still have the new generation. We're not the band playing for old pricks, you know, who remember like a demo times, you know, of Vader or something. So there's still newcomers, still the family is coming with the kids, you know. So we have like still the youth in the front, you know, row in the concerts, and this is something which makes me proud and makes me glad, because it means that Vader is not a band of air. So we play and we may satisfy with the music and with our anger, like the next generations living in a different world, you know. That's the best which happened for Vader, you know, and the biggest success of us.
No, you did that for 3 decades, and it's quite a time, more than 3 decades, it's quite a time. Vader welcomed quite a few musicians in its lineup through the years, becoming a second family for most of people. With good times, bad times, is there a particular moment that counts and could be defined as a proper milestone in Vader history?
I think too many points in that. You know, that's one of those very important moments was '88 when Doc, our drummer, joined the band, because everything changed in this time. So first we a band with kind of different metal style. So we wanted to be extreme band since we started to exist, but the first we were more influenced by bands like you know, the Judas Priest, Accept, you know, Saxon, this kind of stuff. That was extremity. Motorhead, you know. Then everything changed after the bands like, you know, Slayer, Exodus, you know, or Metallica came out, and they just played everything faster, and they changed the meaning of extremity also for us. And in this very moment, so we had some problems with the lineup in Vader already. So just I started to sing in Vader because I was just a guitarist before, so a different singer singing in Polish. So because we wanted to break through also to the West, so we started to create in English as well. Then Doc joined the band. We started to play faster, you know, and in a way closer to the Vader, you know, now, you know, today. And since then, since we recorded the first demo called Necrolust in '99, Vader started to exist as a Vader known today, you know. The other point, which was like more scary to me, but also it was a big painful lesson to me, was when Doc left the band, you know, and because of his big problem with addiction, drug addiction. So after many years of trial, attempt to kill that problem, you know, we gave up, and finally, so the only chance to save Vader as a band was just to split. And you know, Doc just went his own way. Unfortunately, he died soon after that accident, and I had to take decision, you know, because at first I was scared because I was so close with Doc, and he was so important for the band. So I was like thinking about changing the name or changing everything. So I was like afraid if we can find as good drummer for a band, you know, because a drummer is backbone, you know, is the heart of an extreme metal band, and without a good drummer you can't be a good band, you know. Finally I found Dare, and you know, his abilities, you know, brought back a hope to me. And then Vader, as a new Vader, let's say, like, started to exist, like new life, with new life and with the new blood, you know, inside, and
new directions.
Here we go. It's not like in direction stay the same, actually. So we still were like extreme band, just more experienced. But we're more experienced not just as musicians. I had more experienced musicians in the band, new musicians as well. But I was more experienced as a man as well after years, and that lesson was also like very important and crucial, like, for the next chapters in Vader existence.
No, the last chapter you wrote was TB at Igni, the last album. In our opinion, in Room 101, the most epic sounding Vader album ever. Could you think of any reason why?
You know, it's not me who gives opinion. You know, of course I like if people like the album, fans like it. You know, we create the album for people, you know, and you know, we wouldn't stop if people wouldn't like it, of course, but it's good if fans, you know, understand the music and they like it, you know, and they, you know, keep that fire and they're influenced by the music, you know, because this for every composer, creator, this is a very important thing. You know? And same with TB at Igni, it's the last album, the reasons, hard to say, maybe because we spend more time with the guys who joined the band. So Vader had a problem for several years with like stabilizing the lineup. So finally we got like the lineup, the people in the band, like Spider and James and Harlech. So the lineup is stabilized for last few years. So it helps to work, you know, in work.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe that's also a reason. So we stay more solid, you know, on the ground.
And the sound of this album is really just like...
Yeah, the other problem might be... it's not a problem, but the reason that we recorded the album in the studio, we're really known good, you know, I mean, Hard Studio. So the studio was evolving with Vader, so every next album recorded in the studio is like a next step also for them. You know, they produced the album and they knew Vader well, so it's easy to know. They know me well, composer, so they know how to, you know, how to catch the expression of Vader and how to release my ideas. You know, that's also a very important thing.
No, Vader will obviously provide many more years of service. What can we expect from Vader soon in the near future?
Anything. But it's going to be definitely Vader, but definitely, so we're going to try to add something, you know, to see the problem of the world, which is still an inspiration for us, like in some problems of the world, like through the music, and to show it to the fans, you know. It's you know, creativity means to think it over. And all this time since the last album came out till the next album gonna be out, so I don't have like a plans with like straight done, you know. I'm just still looking around. I'm just still swallowing all these things from the world, you know. And then I just need the time to put it on a paper and on a tape, whatever, you know, in the music, you know. And this is how I compose, you know.
No, talking about composition, are you already preparing the next Vader album?
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's not the time. Now I collect ideas, you know. I'm traveling, I'm watching, you know, and if the time will be right, so I set up in the studio and then put everything together, you know. This is how I work.
Okay, so no last question, and thank you for answering all those questions. And with short notice, do you have any message for your fans in Ireland, and especially the ones who will be attending tonight?
You know, I love Ireland, so it's not the first time and not the last time we play in the land, you know. And what I remember from the places we played is also great, you know. So I just repeat what I said before. I love to play for people who know why they're here. If I see people and I see the reaction for the music we play, this is metal, extreme metal. So extreme metal demand extreme reaction as well, and that's the only way to, you know, to make the whole metal as a one whole body, you know. And I'm sure it's going to be exactly today in Dublin, and that's going to be in the future as well. Ireland, you know. This is the land of anger, and that's why the people, the fans, understand this so well.
Well, thank you, Peter, for all the time you're giving us. Thank you.